Hello everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to our panel on AI literacy, from measurement to cultivation. My name is Lixiang. Hello.
Hey, hi.
Okay. I saw someone was trying to say something. Yeah. So my name is Lixiang Yan, or you can call me Jimmy. I'm an assistant professor at Tsinghua University, and I'll be moderating today's session.
Ever had a tornado? Someone would say yes, and someone would say no.
I'm gonna mute
Okay.
people who are not the panelists for now. Okay, yeah. So we're very lucky to have 5 amazing panelists with us. One is still having problem joining. So we have Professor Thomas Xu from the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Professor Davy from the Education University of Hong Kong, and we're also joined by 2 young scholars. So Yueqiao, PhD candidate at Monash University, and Guan, PhD candidate at Tsinghua University. We're still waiting for Professor Wu from the Central China Normal University. I'll make him a host after he joins. So before we begin, let me give you some quick context. So according to the Digital Education Council 2024 survey, so 86% of students are already using generative AI in their study. That's almost 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. And while these tools can be powerful, they also brings real problems. They sometimes make things up. They carry a lot of hidden bias from the data they are trained on, and they raise tricky privacy issues. That's why AI literacy is no longer optional. It is something that every student and educator needs. So let's start with our first questions on measurement. So most of the tools we have today focus on technical skills, like how to use AI systems or check its output. But as we know, AI literacy is much bigger than that. It is about being able to ask critical questions, to recognize bias, and to understand the ethical and cultural issues behind AI. So my first question to the panelists is, how can measurement frameworks balance these diverse aspects to give us a more complete picture of AI literacy? Let's start maybe with Davy.
Okay. Morning from Hong Kong. I'm Davy from the Education University of Hong Kong. So I used to be a secondary school teacher. So maybe I can talk about this from some of my previous experience, and also maybe talk a little bit. I'm not going to say history. Yeah, it's because I have investigated AI literacy for quite a few years. So we can talk about it from the how does it look like in the early days. So in early days in 2021, at that time, just because of COVID, everything's gone automatic, and people trying to not to see each other, and they try to incorporate maybe automatic technologies in classroom, like intelligent agent system, chatbot, to make students continue their learning at home. So, but the problem is how do we make sure students, and nowadays, how do we make sure students can unlock these AI potential, and at the same time, balance is misused or overuse risk. So in early days, it focused more on the technological dimensions. And for example, in Hong Kong, we have a curriculum for all Form 1 to Form 3 students that are actually from Thomas. Yeah, he builds this curricula that his team builds this curricula that all students need to learn 9 hours. Yeah, learn about AI. But in AI education, we can see other than learning about AI, nowadays we have ChatGPT and also some Gen AI empowered platforms. Yeah, and so learn with AI would be another important thing that all of us need to learn. Yeah, and for the AI literacy in early days, we focus more on, as we said, we focus more on the technical and cognitive domains that students will know about AI and use AI responsibly, evaluate AI generated information and create their artifact, for example, projects or essay with AI. And all along these cognitive domains, we have the ethics. Yeah, just like we need to be aware of the AI ethical principles like academic integrity and transparency, bias, and so on and so forth. And also nowadays, we may need to incorporate the cognitive laziness issue that students overuse too much AI in their assignments, that they're not really learning, they are not having the authentic learning. So this could be a problematic issue, if they overuse or rely on AI too much. And later on, other than the technical and cognitive domains, and people also aware of the affective, whether students are confident or they feel self-efficacy, to use AI, in different contexts, like maybe problem solving, creativity, or even in subject domains like programming, AI assist programming, or writing multimodal composing, and whether they have the confidence to use these technologies. And the last one would be the behavioral domains, that whether students can socialize or collaborate with each others in an AI environment. So this is the very basic introduction about maybe there could be many excellent definition and frameworks that we can make better. Maybe I now pass the time to Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Davy, for the pretty historical overview of how AI literacy evolved over Hong Kong. I think you mentioned the curriculum that Thomas designed. So maybe, yes, Thomas, you can provide a bit more details into that. I think he's a bit lagging, with the internet issue. So maybe, Ariel, you can chip in for a bit.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Yueqiao, or you can also call me Ariel. I'm a PhD candidate from Monash University, and my research looks at the measurement of AI literacy in general, and more specifically, generative AI literacy in the diverse educational context. So probably today, I think I'll provide more of a view from a measurement perspective by sharing how do we use some of the frameworks in our measurement tools. And I'll just quickly share one of the some slides with you. Yeah, talking about framework. Thanks to Davy and his colleagues that they developed and proposed this fundamental framework for AI literacy that he just shared, that covers 4 dimensions. And although there are other frameworks that are quite comprehensive, we found that when we try to develop a measurement tool and when we search for these frameworks, this framework is first, it's theoretically well-grounded and it's very straightforward, and also it's comprehensive enough for the use and the purpose of measurement. So that's why we use this framework from Davy and his colleagues. And so built upon these frameworks, so we generated a 20-item literacy test called Generative AI Literacy Assessment Test, or GLAT. And what I want to explain more here is about the type of the questions. because for the knowledge and understanding, this dimension, we use more of a definition-based questions like which of the following best describe generative AI, or other questions on what do you think it means by zero-shot learning, things like this. And for the other three dimensions, such as use and apply, evaluate and create, and ethics, we proposed questions based on scenarios. And this kind of scenario-based questions, we think it has two strengths. First is that it provides more of a realistic and practical sense for the users. And the other thing is that the scenario-based questions can be later swapped with other domain-specific scenarios for better adaptation. For example, currently it is for the ethic, the last question, it is within the healthcare scenario, or later if we adapt it for K-12 education, we can use it we can easily swap it for maybe academic writing. And the other thing I wanted to share is that beyond the development of this tool, we also developed its online version. So with this website, well, of course, you can scan the code or access the link. I'll also share the link in the chat. And the other, I just saw there's a question I'll answer later. The other thing is we developed this competency map to straightforwardly give you the idea of the sub dimensions at the end of this test. So although we recommend, if you use this for research, we still recommend you to use the total score for its statistical validity. But we think this competency map can be a very easy to use tool for students and educators who want to just to get a glance of how they achieved on these domains. And the final thing I wanted to add is, I think I need to probably answer these questions. So this tool is for students. So initially it was for higher education students, but now we are extending it beyond higher education and already adapted into workplace for professional development, vocational learning, and also K-12. Yeah, and in multiple languages. So the final thing I wanted to add is that this performance-based, no matter if it's performance-based like multiple choice test or the other many scales like the self-reported scales, no matter like how many dimensions they can cover, one of the issues that we found was it only offers static snapshot and at the time of the assessment, and they cannot capture the dynamic change during the interaction. And I think that potentially in the future, that's something we could explore more using the process data or log data, like keystroke or chat log between students and chatbot to further balance and capture it comprehensively. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ariel, for sharing this tool. And so I think we have Thomas back. So yes, Thomas, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, lovely. So I think David mentioned about the curriculum you designed. So maybe you want to share more on that?
So yeah, thank you. I was there when Davy talked about it. Actually, I'm from South China University of Hong Kong, and our team actually start to develop a curriculum for K-12 in 2018. So I think now we moved to teacher AI competency. So we're focus on training teachers. And actually in 2025, will be the one who develop their whole courses 24 hours. So before I start, our curriculum actually is quite big. We have 55 chapters. But again, for K-12, it's not only about AI. So we select, I think every year they have 9 hours. So we select something that's important for young kids. Anyway, to measure it, because I want to talk about the topic today, we talk about literacy. I would like to talk about the first definition of literacy, actually it's from reading. It's about knowledges. So for us, when you measure
I think yeah.
Can you?
You're a bit lagging.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
I think that's good. Let me because yeah, I think it's better now. I changed the network. So I think we use objective measure, but the another terms I would like to talk about is competency. And what you talk about emotional, can the kid or the people that use AI in doing a specific task ethically, healthily, and safely. So we use the term core competency, actually aligned with UNESCO. So what we see is literacy is a campus. Competency, I'm sorry, literacy is the engine, is the engine. Competency is compass, basically just direct where you to go. And without knowledge, you won't understand how to use it. So for us, literacy, we use multiple choices and also portal-based learning. But another aspect that what you mentioned that, David mentioned that behavioral, emotional, or other domain, we use competency ideas. So it's actually, they will do some tasks and to see, because even though they feel that they are ethical, but doesn't mean that they can do it. For example, jaywalking, everyone knows that it's not right, but we're still doing it. So you may understand AI ethics, you may love it, but you may not do it. But why? So I think that this is something that I just developed an apps chatbot to measure this one. I'm going to launch it on 14, actually next week, next Tuesday. You are welcome. You can come to my session. You learn how to measure AI competency using chatbot. Yes. I think the other way is literacy and competency. I think people mix up these two concepts. Literacy is more about knowledge, how can they use it. Competency is more about can they actually do it, actual behavior. So it's not like you cannot use questionnaire to measure it. So one is campus, the other is the engine. So keep you working. And so I think the measure is different. Again, I think that Ariel mentioned that using chatbot, which I developed already. So we are launching it this year. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Thanks for sharing it, and really looking forward to try out the chatbot. So I think there's some question about student or teacher AI literacy, and what's the difference between measure these. I think Guan, you've done some work in that field. Would you like to share a bit more on that?
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm Guan, a PhD student from Tsinghua University, under the supervision of Professor Han Xibin. It's my great honor to join this panel and share with you some insights from our research team's work over the past year. We conducted a large-scale national survey on the readiness of AI in Chinese vocational education. This study covered 31 provinces, hundreds of institutions, and more than 1 million students and 70,000 teachers. Among the different dimensions we examined today, I would like to highlight the part focusing on the students' AI literacy, which directly responds to the question of the measurement scope. In terms of the framework, our student questionnaire contained 28 items with the literacy subskill serving as a core indicator. For this design, we draw on the generative AI literacy assessment, that is the GLAT, which was formally introduced by the Guan and others in 2025 in Campus and Education Artificial Intelligence. And the GLAT itself builds on the earlier work such as the AI literacy questionnaire proposed in 2023 in British Journal of Educational Technology, extending it into the context of the generative AI. Based on the GLAT, we developed a Southern Chinese adaptation to better fit the context of students in vocational education. This version retains 4 core dimensions: knowing and understanding, applying and analyzing, evaluating and creating, and ethics and norms. For each dimension, we selected representative items to ensure both comprehensiveness and efficiency. Reliability and validity were tested through the pilot studies, ensuring the instrument's scientific soundness for our student population. Beyond the literacy items, we also included items on technology use behaviors, trust and satisfaction, and developmental expectations, which serve as explanatory variables to enrich interpretation. Methodologically, we adopted a stratified sampling approach.
The school administration
Covering both
responsible.
secondary vocational schools and higher vocational colleges. Rigorous quality control measures such as response time checks, logic consistency, and duplicate screening helped guaranteeing data integrity. In the end, we collected over 1.3 million valid student responses, allowing us not only to present a reliable national picture, but also to identify meaningful differences across the regions and institutional types. In short, our approach aims to put: can students use AI? Do they use it well? Can they critically question it? And can they uphold ethical boundaries onto the same measurement scope? We believe such a whole perspective provides both a scientific basis and a practical pathway for advancing AI literacy in vocational education. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, thanks for sharing the insights. I see there's some questions regarding the reliability. Maybe you can touch on that later. I think for now we need to move the discussion a bit forward. So let's move to our second theme, which is from assessment to practice. So we have made progress in building framework and tests for AI literacy. For example, Davy's framework, Arrow's test, and GLAD, also Thomas, the new chatbot, which using process measures. But here's the challenge. So too often, these results just sit on paper. Teachers and students rarely see how those funding can actually make learning better. So the question is, how can we leverage these insights from measurement and directly shape our curriculum design and also classroom practice, so we can actually support AI literacy development instead of just measuring? I think we'll start again with Davy, because I know you did a lot of work on that.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And as you mentioned, that AI literacy is very interdisciplinary. Yeah, and Ariel just mentioned that we should look at AI literacy from this term to Gen AI literacy. And thanks for developing a knowledge test, because most of the questionnaires nowadays seems to be very self-efficacy or self-reported. And subject context specific questionnaire is knowledge test is very helpful to really measure the knowledge acquisition of learners. And in secondary school, we have maybe I can give you some examples of how AI literacy can be interdisciplinary. For example, in my preserving school, I help engage the students in building the AI ship to classify this is fish and this is garbage, don't catch it. And we can see that teachers can be very exhausted, and luckily our government have the IT Innovation Lab, and also in the coming year we have the Quality Education Fund. And each schools can purchase the equipments and software to launch AI in STEM education and also in different subjects. So in that environmental protection program, that we engage students in using the AI ship to classify the garbage or fish in Deepwater Bay, a very beautiful harbor and beach in Hong Kong. And another activity that we use a similar technique that we actually is computer vision, that we help the students to classify the objects in front of the visually impaired people. So it's like an AI king, an AI stick to classify, this is the cup, what's the object in front of them. But nowadays we have Gen AI, so what's the point? We need to have the computer vision. So maybe we can engage the students again, and to use the camera and GPT or some other Gen AI application to classify analyze what objects or people in the images. So this is how we teach students from AI to Gen AI literacy from the technical point of view. But the thing is, whether this Gen AI is very accurate, does it have bias, or it has potential problems? So for Gen AI literacy, it seems to be more focused on the critical thinking. So here in this example would be analyzing the images. But how about if we analyze students' behavior by having the setting a camera in the classroom? That's maybe problematic, although we can still use computer vision or Gen AI to look at students, watch or record what they are doing. So that could be some ethical or critical concern. And other points that maybe Thomas just mentioned about the AI competencies, maybe I have a little bit points to discuss towards it. Maybe for me, I think just my opinion. So maybe teachers, they are professional. And they have their own set of professional competency, like developing lesson plans or communicate with stakeholders or parents. Or even when we incorporate the AI in classroom, we may need to discuss with the AI experts. And we also set guidelines and assessment. Transform our assessment into more project-based learning. And these are all the competencies that teachers need to equip with, but not others. Not students or healthcare practitioners. They have their own set of unique professional competency. So of course they need to have the basic knowledge. So what we call the AI literacy, that all students, all teachers, all people from kindergarteners up to older adults, from all walks of life, they need to learn something about AI. And they plus their own unique set of competency that would be make the whole picture more context specific. Actually, also more human oriented, more human centered. As it's not only about teachers, it can be AI literacy for healthcare practitioners. So you can see that in my alma mater, University of Hong Kong, they have the AI literacy as a compulsory courses for all students. So the first 3 credits would be about the basic knowledge for all students, and the second one would be more subject specific. In EduHK, we also have our AI literacy program. Yeah, that is quite interesting that in my course, actually I'm now going to teach the course in 9:30. Yeah, 30 minutes later. Yeah, so which is about the Chinese culture. Yeah, that is about the politeness, that is ethics, and also transportation, that is the 6th traditional Chinese art. That's so it can be very cultural, yeah, or so even social cultural perspective. When we incorporate AI in different subjects, it can be very interesting. Yeah. So maybe I now pass the time to Professor Jimmy. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much, David, for sharing these insights. So I want to put this to Thomas. So I think you're about to launch your chatbot, and what insights can we draw from the chatbot interaction that can be used to inform, for example, instructional design or classroom practice?
Yeah, I can. First, I will talk about the chatbot first. And actually, our chatbot measures Chinese culture, the 5 domains, and also ethical, and also ethical. We call ethical awareness. So it's not ethical knowledge. Are they aware of doing it? So we use scenario based, and we have been developing for more than 1 year, and then we because we have been teaching AI competency for 5 years. So we have all the data. So it's data driven. So what the assessment would be where they stand. We are quantitative feedback, not quantitative feedback. I think if you are interested, you can email. I mean, we are not, because this is my project, and we actually have engaged already 50 schools in doing it already. And then I think next year we expand to 200 schools already. Anyway, I think go back to the practices. We talk about a lot of assessment. Assessment always drive practices. You cannot ignore assessment. So I think the first step, what does, like for example, our curriculum, we have 55 chapters, but we see that only maybe 27 hours. So how can we do it? Of course, you have to ask the school, the stakeholder, what they need, what they want. So it's not that easy to say that I want this, I want that. And what do they want? For example, in my university, we have 8 faculty. Each faculty have their own AI competency courses. Each of them are different because we are different needs. So we have AI competency. We don't use literacy. We use competency. We believe that, I think they have to translate from knowledge, literacy into competency. Like Gary Farrell, the former editor of Learning and Instruction, he did mention that. So our faculty, our university using competency. Each faculty have their own one. So mine is for teachers. Some of them for engineers. University position need for K-12. What do they need? I mean, myself is they're more about basic knowledge, more about ethical. It's very important. This is so in our original curriculum, we have 12 chapters. Each chapter have ethical. We're ethical for CV. We're ethical for speaking. We're computer speaking. Computer speech. Sorry. We have ethical for AI for social good. We're ethical for future of work. So I think that is our focus. I think for the junior, because we're also using AI for social good idea. So you cannot just say learning AI. If you are using AI for harm, to harm people, it's not what we want. So we actually, our goal is AI for social good. You have some theme. So again, for example, in US, they try to teach AI in different subjects, like mathematics. They have their own curriculum to teach AI, which languages, social sciences is the same. So I think different region, different school system they have actually me in Hong Kong. I have my one project, GRF project, talk about teaching different subjects. I mean, teaching AI in different subjects, and then yes, I think first when you translate to practices, we cannot ignore. We cannot just talk about pedagogy. We have to want what other people want, what the student need, what the school system need. So and then you translate from them and use the assessment to drive it. Is my opinion. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hang on, Jody.
Hey, are you attending the conference?
I am. It's not the.
Okay, we just had an audience jump in. So thank you, Davy and Thomas. And you actually cover a lot for my next questions, which is related to interdisciplinary integrations. As you mentioned, like AI literacy is not only for like computer science students, it matters in a vast majority of the subject, in history, in medicine, in business, education, also a range of social science subjects. But this actually creates a tough questions. So how do we build AI literacy into all these different fields without overloading teachers or watering down the unique focus of each subject? So to be precise, I want to ask you, what are effective ways to embed AI literacy into interdisciplinary curriculum without overburdening educators or diluting the disciplinary depth?
So me, I mean, is it me?
Yeah, you can
Hello?
jump in.
Yeah. I would like to ask this one. You know, I think that give and take. You have to ask them to do something. You have to take something away, which is normal. And also, I think that K-12 and higher education is different. I was running a workshop for my university, and then I said to them, you know, we always see the problem of the student. Actually, it's the problem of the curriculum. And then end up that I think you have to switch the mindset. And actually, they end up that the faculty of nursing education asked me to give workshops to their teachers. My point is you have to give and take, and also teacher training is the key. You cannot force them, or it's just the hardline hours. You have to do that. For me, you know, most people say that teaching AI, but actually, it's, without support, you burden them. So that's why I think in the coming 2 to 3 years, my work will only focus on teachers. Talk about, I think that, and also I will have I use SDT, self-determinative theory, to develop all my teacher AI competency courses. And then that theory is talk about how to support their lead. And also, we try to train them, and I also did research on how to train the leadership in school, how they support the teacher AI competency. I have most of my work is focused on this one. So I think we have to change the way how we develop the professional development. We have to change the way how teachers think. We have to change how school support the teachers. I think that we have to do it because, again, give and take. Why do you always give it to them? You have to take something, and then it's one of the key that I strongly believe. And then, you know, if they're competent to do that, they don't feel it is burden. They feel that they are unable to. They perceive they are unable to do it, so they feel burdened. I think it's about planning, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's really great points. I think like teachers are the most important thing we need to reach first. Maybe we pass on to let's see, Ariel before going to Davy, because I think Davy is also want to say something. But let's go with Ariel first.
Yeah, Yeah, sure. For this question, I want to share two quite interesting findings from a recent study that we just conducted. And hopefully that will help answer this question. Because currently, I think the challenge or why educators found it's difficult for themselves to embed AI literacy into their curriculum. Of course, there's external factors, but internally, the lack of motivation, and they're afraid that adding these actual layers of AI literacy on top of their already quite intensive schedule and putting all these efforts may not worth it, especially how would AI literacy would be useful for the unit I'm teaching. How would it related to the domain specific or the disciplinary knowledge that I'm teaching? And from this recent study, we found that actually AI literacy has a more of a direct and task general effect on performance in a multimodal writing task, which could be interpreted as for students with better or higher AI literacy, they often equipped with other great fundamental skills such as strategic planning or critical evaluation or metacognitive monitoring, etc. So these are the great characteristics or the abilities that we value same across the other disciplines. So which could potentially means that by fostering AI literacy, it would also build strengths in other domains without diluting the depth of this domain-specific knowledge. And by integrating like small or more targeted trainings on AI literacy, it could be a benefit for educators and both educators and students in the long run. And I'll provide with an example that from a university level, I remember there was an introductory computer science course, and it also echoes with what Davy and Thomas shared about this ethical risk and the bias of generative AI output, which I think is probably one of the most concerns from the institutions when they try to embrace or hold attitude towards generative AI. So the innovation about this course is that the instructor were able to innovate through the assignments. So instead of asking students to deliver their coding products or programming related homework, this assignment asked the students to intentionally prompt ChatGPT and to detect biases and those ethical risks when engaging with these generative AI agents and to evaluate its output. So they were required to highlight which part of the output do you think it has a risk, and how did you manage to prompt the chatbot to get this bias. And so this way we, from this process, it actually offers both performance-based and process-based data for measurement. And also through this sort of practice, it can also help the educators to have a better understanding of students' level and their ethical use of Gen AI, and then better help students to cultivate their AI literacy, at least for the ethical side of things. And the other finding I wanted to share is that cultivating AI literacy sounds really good, but it will take time, and it's not something that can be achieved tomorrow. So it would be potentially helpful for the educators to integrate educational techniques such as scaffolding into the generative AI chatbot or other AI tools, so that it could provide, from our study, it could provide equitable support to bridge the gap between students with higher and lower generative AI literacy. Yeah, so that's
Ariel,
share.
thanks. Thank you for sharing the insights. Really interesting findings. Let's move to David. You have the rest of the time until you leave.
Okay.
David have to leave a bit early for the.
It's fine. Yeah, I was trying to say. So I'll have a little bit add on for the overburdening for educators. Yeah, indeed, it's really a problem because in Hong Kong we have quite many new initiatives in schools. Yeah, even for citizenship teachers, for math they have math modeling. Yeah, so it's very busy. So one thing is that Thomas has mentioned is pretty true that we need to. It's a problem of give and take. Yeah, we need to take something away, from the existing curriculum. So another thing is maybe the teachers, all of them actually they are using AI, but they are worried about incorporating AI in the classroom. Maybe one thing is that they feel worried about for young learners, for secondary and primary students, they cannot probably control themselves. They cannot self-regulate their learning that well, okay? So for university students, it's better, at least when I interview them, most of them will know the issue, the critical problems behind, like misinformation or whether AI will over-influence, have the agency problem that over-influence, what students cannot say what they originally want to say. So these are the problems that maybe secondary student teachers they are worried about. So in Hong Kong, in the COVID, during the COVID, we have started the BYOD guidelines from the government. So I think incorporating guidelines quickly is one of the a way to work these out, to help release the burden, to help to let the teachers not feeling lost their direction. So we have the guidelines. So actually, when we look at the guidelines, there are quite many famous models from the UNESCO, from the OECD that for the country level or regional level, they can adapt these guidelines into their places, for their schools. And then in the macro level, it's more like how school leaders can adapt these guidelines into their school context. And then for teachers, they may need to make sense of how AI used in their classroom, in their subjects. And for students, everyone, that is the micro level that every students need to learn about AI. So we can look at this from the social ecological dimension, from individual to the macro level. So I think overall, I think introducing meaningful guidelines, professional training like Thomas has mentioned, are important for teachers, for everyone to have a direction. And maybe that is what I would like to share. Maybe I pass the time now to Dr. GB.
Thank you, Davy, for sharing that. Indeed, Ghana is very essential and important. Let's pass it to Guan. I think the study you conduct is also related to government policy and guideline in terms of AI literacy. Would you like to share more on that?
Yes, thank you very much. Let me respond based on our national survey findings and the guidelines that our teams have published. First, our large-scale survey across the Chinese vocational education shows that AI literacy is no longer confined to the computer science, but has already spread into a wide range of disciplines. For example, in business and finance programs, students use generative AI to draft marketing copy and generate financial reports. And in equipment manufacturing, they apply AI in mechanical drawing and parameter optimization. And in the healthcare and medical services, students rely on AI for case-based nursing analysis and practical learning. These findings clearly demonstrate that AI literacy is becoming a cross-disciplinary competence. Second, our research team has gone further to explore how AI can be deeply integrated into specific disciplines. For instance, in advertising design, we built a multi-agent support system to enhance creative expression and production. And in the landscape design, we experimented with AI-assisted conceptualization and spatial simulation. And in cultural tourism, we applied AI for creative storytelling and immersive experience design. These practices are now converging into our proposal of building industry discipline large models, which provide contextualized, adaptive, and transferable support for different professional fields. Therefore, I argue that embedding AI literacy across disciplines requires a twofold approach. First, we need to ensure broad coverage through the policy and curriculum reform, and we also need to enable deep disciplinary integration through the domain-specific large models. This balance helps us avoid superficial generalization and disciplinary fragmentation, thereby fostering meaningful and cross-disciplinary AI literacy. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I think policy is indeed essential, and both Davy, Thomas, Ariel, and Guan mentioned about their work on that. But what I want to know a bit more, or the audience might also want to know a bit more, is AI literacy. If we just left AI literacy to just a few passionate teachers, it won't spread far. Like Thomas mentioned, we need to educate teachers, but to do that, we need universities, ministries, or institutional support, and we need them to step in. But at the same time, policies can be slow, political, and not always in touch with the real classroom. So my question maybe to Thomas first is, what roles should policymakers and educational leaders play in making sure that AI literacy becomes recognized and support a core skill for all learners?
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think I'm an educational researcher, so I believe evidence-based. I believe how is it to change that policy is what I'm doing it at the moment. So I don't care why do you have to change? Why do I have to listen to you? Why? It's very important that I think the role is, first, I think policymakers usually passive. So I think it's not just what they do, it's what we can do. So I think that all the research we have, for me, I usually send all my book to the policymaker and then pitching them. It's what I did. And then you talk to them because, again, as you say, that policy making is slow. But once you have the evidence, I think they change faster. So I believe evidence-based. That's why we are doing research. I think that's very important that most of my research, I actually have some touch on policy. It's what I intentional to do, even though do learning sciences. I think it's very important that what we can do is not what they can do. And how we communicate with them, I think is the key. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Indeed, I think as researchers ourselves, we also need to play our bets in there. Maybe we'll pass on to Davy, if you still stay with us. Yeah, muted, Davy.
Oh yes, I'm still here.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, so what's your experience while like interacting with these government or institutional leaders, and can you provide any advice or suggestions based on your experience?
Well, recently I talked to a IB school in Hong Kong, and they would like to have their own school-based guidelines as soon as possible. So I discussed with them how to work this out. So they think that we think that yeah, we need to measure the baseline for all teachers and students as well as parents. Yeah, how they look into this matter. They feel worried, yeah, or they are ready to use AI. So yeah, I think for teacher, for educators, we are doing a human job. Yeah. So I think investigating the end users like our students and parents, yeah, how they look at developing guidelines for schools. Yeah, is in an essential way. So I think for the schools, they can one way is to measure the baseline of what's going on in the schools, and to look at the governmental or international guidelines, how we can borrow idea from them, even though the government may not have too much frameworks on AI education. Yeah, and also there are quite many fundings nowadays in Hong Kong. Yeah, and we can purchase some software, but it can be quite an issue. Yeah, when I discuss to the teachers, because there are too many Gen AI chatbots nowadays, we are not sure which one we should choose. Yeah, and according to them, they will say that for the chatbots from the large company, they are not going to shut down that quickly. Yeah, and other thing is there could be the transparency issue because for the big company, they may be saving. Some schools they have set their own server. Yeah, they have set their own server to protect the data, AI student dialogues. Yeah, so these are the comments or advice that schools can start with.
Lovely, thank you so much. I think we have a few more minutes, so maybe Ariel, you want to share a bit more?
Yeah, because we did a policy analysis on the guidelines and of higher education institutions last year. Although I think many things has changed and evolved in the last year, but I think probably the fundamental findings will stay the same. Is that because Gen AI literacy is sorry, not Gen AI literacy, but like more generative AI or AI technologies is shaping the workplace very quickly, and the universities, they need to shift from the traditional model of teaching to a new model of embracing these sort of technologies. Otherwise, a potential gap or misalignment will open between with what students learn and what employers expect. Because I think higher education institutions, the objective, the main objective is to foster intellectual development and the cultivation of knowledge. However, in the labor market, sometimes they often prioritize efficiency or productivities. So I think that's why institutions or universities should treat AI literacy as one of the key competency or the core competency, and transform from the separation between the disciplinary skills and AI literacy to consider them as one integrated skills in this new era. And also for the institutions, I think for administrators, they should provide more support and resources to faculties, to educators, and into the curriculum design. And by providing this support, what we mean is to build communication channels and better feedback loops among students and educators. So it's not just from top-bottom approach that okay, we have this new policy and you need to adapt your curriculum. It's more of a two-way communication, or because each of these key stakeholders, they have each with distinct, but I'd say more of the interconnected responsibilities. They have to collaborate within this social system together. Yeah, that's probably some insights to share. Yeah, back to you, Jimmy.
Cool, lovely. And this actually brings us to the end of our panel. And thank you everyone for coming. And thank you, greatest gratitude to our panelists. I think if there's one clear message, it is that AI literacy is not a luxury. With most students already using generative AI, we have to act now, making sure they not only know how to use AI, but also when and why it should be used, and also how to use it responsibly. Again, thank you to our panelists and our audience for joining us. I hope today has sparked some new ideas for how we can all work together to advance research or practice in AI literacy. If there's any question, feel free to contact our panelists through Hua, and that will be the end of the session. Thank you so much.